let's talk about rep ranges, right? What are the best rep ranges for chest? Well, here's a deal with rep ranges for pretty much every muscle, and this includes the chest. They all build muscle, and I say all, but I mean all within reason. So within reason being anything under 25 or 30 reps is going to build muscle. Now, why do I say under 25 or 30 reps? At some point, it becomes a stamina and endurance exercise and less of a muscle building type exercise. If the reps get way too high, it starts to become cardio with weights. And the studies will show that it's around, 30 to 25 reps is probably the upper limit of where you're going to get these muscle building benefits. Now, what this means is all the rep ranges under that build muscle. Now, you will find studies that show that in head-to-head comparison in a 8-week study, that the 8 to 12 rep range is going to build the most muscle. And now most is a small margin, by the way. It's not like it's double the muscle or whatever, but a tiny bit more. The problem with that study or those studies is that people take it to heart and then they avoid training out of that rep range. Because 8 to 12 always builds the most muscle. So I'm always going to train in the 8 to 12. And what happens is the body gets pretty good at adapting to whatever you're doing, and then it stops responding. So then 8 to 12 goes from being this great rep range to now not really working well for you. And one of the best things you could do is go into the 4 to 5 rep range or the 15 to 20 rep range. So the best rep range for building chest really are all of them. They all work very well. I think the key is to stay in a rep range for, 3 to 6 weeks and then move out of it. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Well, now that being said, do you feel that there are certain muscles, though, that lend themselves better to singles, doubles, and triples? Like I feel like the bench press, is one of the exercises that I can get under there and do a single, double, or triple and still reap major benefits from it versus a bicep curl, right? I'm not going to get a lot of benefits from doing a super heavy single or double bicep curl.
Agreed, and I don't think it's muscle as much as it's exercises, right? There's just some exercises that are really, really beneficial in the low rep ranges more so than other exercises. Compound lifts tend to be those. So if you're going to mess with the low rep ranges, you probably shouldn't mess with them with like cable flies. Cable flies for 3 reps. I mean, yeah, you could hit your chest, but you're not going to get like
much out of that.
Tremendous cable flies are better with the higher rep ranges. Yeah. Bench presses, incline presses, heavy dips, like those can be pretty awesome in those low rep ranges. So that's a good point that you make.
Right, and because of that, when you guys are cycling through reps, do you tend to come back to those heavy 1 to 5 rep ranges more often than you would say for other muscles in the body?
Yeah, well, other exercises for sure. Like I almost never, I don't know, have you guys ever done low reps for flies?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think the lowest I've ever gone is like 5 or 6.
Well, I think chest, back, and legs, I think are 3.
Just because they're huge muscles.
They're big muscles, and there's great compound lifts for each of those. And so those are the ones I find I will revisit, or I'll ever even train a single, double, or a triple, and I feel like I reap good benefits from it. So also, that being said, I also see tremendous benefits in pushing the 20 reps, which I don't do a lot with a lot of other muscle groups or exercises. So I really like varying that. Like if I find myself that I've been doing a lot of heavy lifting on chest in the 1 to 5 rep range, and it's like, oh man, when was the last time I put some real lightweight on and did 20 reps? And I see huge benefits from going all the way up there. But of course, the same rules apply that I think we always talk about on the show, which is no matter what rep range you're currently doing, moving out of that rep range is the most ideal for you for continuing to build muscle, because the body will eventually adapt to whatever rep range that you tend to gravitate towards.
Well, and to kind of add on to the rep range thing and kind of shoe in the tempo to your earlier point about focusing on the negative, I would say that in the 10 to 12 rep range would be more ideal for doing, a slower tempo and really controlling that down versus like the real benefit of those 1 to 5 rep is to just really power and generate as much force as possible and not be quite as concerned with the negative.
Yeah, there's a different feel.
So if we were going to be prescriptive, since this is like a master class, if we're going to be prescriptive for somebody and we were going to utilize everything from 1 to say 20 reps, How would you guys kind of phase that over the course of, let's say, three months or so?
I would say the lower reps under 6 tend to be better with the presses and compound lifts. And the isolation exercises, and we'll get to those, things like flies on all the variations, tend to be better in the higher rep ranges. And just like our MAPS programs, I would go 3, 4, 5 weeks in a particular rep range and then move into a different rep range. And I'd go from as low as doing 1 or 2 reps to going as high as 20 to 25 reps. But I wouldn't do 1 or 2 reps with like flies, for example, because those exercises they don't work really well.
Okay, so I'm going to break down what you just said then. So in the sets, we're going to work in the, say, 1 to 5 set range for a period of 3 to 5 weeks, you would say. So 3 on the low end I would stay in that phase of training.
Yeah.
Okay. For 3 to 5 weeks. So 3 weeks on the low end, 5 weeks on the top, and then I would move out of that rep range. So let's say the first rep range, I'm gonna work 1 to 5 rep range. That's going to be 3 to 5 weeks. After those 3 to 5 weeks up, now I'm going to move into, say, what, 6 to 10?
Or 8 to 12.
Yeah, 6 to 10, 8 to 12, somewhere in that rep range. Again, I'm going to hang around there for 3 to 5 weeks. And then after that, I'm going to move into like 15 to 20 rep range
Right.
for same thing, 3 to 5 weeks.
No more muscle.